Fiscal Court to order. It's good to see a crowd here with us today. I'm going to ask our attorney to lead us in prayer, and we'll follow that with the pledge to the flag.
Thank you, Judge. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning with glad hearts for all the many blessings that you have given to us individually and as a community. We're so thankful for Simpson County, all our neighbors and friends and family, and that which makes us Simpson County as we celebrate this, our 200th anniversary. Also like to thank you for these people here who have done the hard work in acknowledging the bicentennial of this county. Also ask that you bless and keep those up here who make decisions for the county, give them wisdom and discernment to do what is right in your sight. Also ask that you bless and keep those who wear the uniform, particularly those in harm's way, bring them home to their families safe. Bless and keep those first responders who keep us safe and bring them home safe. Also, always in our hearts we keep and thankful for the veterans whose efforts have given us the freedoms we enjoy today. At this time, we ask that you forgive us of all our sins and shortcomings. This we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start today with some recognitions. It takes a lot of people to make a community successful and to make a community a good place to be. And there's some groups today and some individuals that we want to recognize. First, I want to ask Nell Jordan, the president of the Simpson County Homemakers, if she would come up. I think she's got a presentation that she'd like to make to the court. And I'll let you introduce all of the members of the Homemakers Association that's with you today.
Let you talk right here.
Good morning. I'm Nell Jordan, and I'm representing Simpson County Homemakers Association. We have been in existence for 84 years in Simpson County, and we do a lot of volunteer work. We don't get paid for all the things that we do. We have, well, let me introduce the rest of my group. This is Christy Rainey. She is the FCS Extension Agent. She's our fearless leader. And Joe Giddens, I'm terrible with names. Jewel Burkett and Betty Ruth Ditmore. Almost said Betty Ruth Gunn because we've known each other since we were little girls. And we do a lot of volunteer work in Simpson County. And so in regards to that, we'd like to present to the court a check for $933,615.31. And this represents 376,135 volunteer hours.
Yeah, it would be good if it was actual money, but it's pretty impressive the work that y'all do and the volunteer work that's done that represents this much labor. It's pretty impressive. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
All right, next, I want to recognize a special group of folks. Obviously this year, and we're winding this year down, it's hard to believe that in just over 2 months, it'll be 2020. That's amazing. But this has been Simpson County's bicentennial year, and we've had a lot of events, a lot of functions, a lot of activities, and one more to go at the end of the year. But I want to recognize this group that has put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy to make these events and functions happen throughout our community. So I'm going to ask Ms. Lisa Deaver. She is the chairman, or chairperson, I guess I should say, of the Simpson County Bicentennial Committee. I'm going to ask Lisa to come up, and I want her to introduce the folks that are with her today that's also a part of the Bicentennial Committee.
Thank you, Judge. First, thank you, Judge and Magistrates, for your support in this first year. And then, of course, we've got the city support, too, coming up for our second year. But again, all of this couldn't have been done not only without our committee, but also the wonderful sponsors and volunteers. So I hope you'll give me an opportunity to recognize those, too. Yes. But first, last year, County Judge Jamie Barnes, I'm combining the two of you, sorry, Jamie Spears, appointed this committee to head up the bicentennial for the next 2 years. And so this committee's been working hard. We did a birthday kickoff. We did a 4th of July parade. We had to postpone because of the weather in July and did our community day. Now we have 2 more activities coming up. Our next is our Living History Cemetery Walks, which will take place October 25th and 26th at Green Lawn and Shady Rest Cemeteries. And then we're going to end the year with a big bang with our Bicentennial Bash, our first ever New Year's Eve celebration on the courthouse lawn and downtown to kick off the city's bicentennial for 2020. So we hope you all can plan to be at both of those. But if I could recognize our committee, and we don't have all of them here today, but I will start out with Ms. Betty Parker, who is representing the Chamber of Commerce.
We want y'all to come up here.
Jennifer Howe, who is our independent consultant and graphic designer, marketing person. Kami Jo Hall with the Simpson County Historical Society. Dan Ware with Franklin Simpson Tourism. Brownie Bennett with Franklin Simpson Community Arts. Mark DeTore with Dueling Grounds Distillery. Amy Ellis with Franklin Simpson Renaissance, and Christy Ramey with UK Extension. Those are our members that are here today. Those that couldn't be here are Terry Johnson with the Boys and Girls Club, Mickey Lewis, and then Tammy Carey with the City of Franklin. But because of all of this group here that have worked hard all year, we've had a great 200th celebration. Now, of course, even with their help, all of these activities that we have done, we've tried to keep those activities that could be either free or reduced cost to the community, and I do have to put on my cheaters for that. We have had a lot of sponsors, including the City of Franklin and Simpson County Fiscal Court, Franklin Simpson Chamber of Commerce, Franklin Simpson Community Arts Council, Franklin Simpson Renaissance, Simpson County Cooperative Extension Service, Simpson County Historical Society, Simpson County Tourism, Lisa and Brad Devers, Leach and Cummins, Jepson Family Farm Partnership, Susan M. Lane Legacy Group, A.L. Johnson Distributors, Gene Harris, Bill and Ida Harris, Jolene Thurman, Carrie Bullington, Mefford and Phillips Law Firm, Robert Young Link, and then also for the fireworks we had Kentucky Downs and Franklin Simpson Parks and Recreation, and then Coldwell Banker on the 4th of July gave away the flags to everyone, and then we've also, I couldn't go without thanking Bob Palmer and his team from Franklin Simpson Emergency Management Services, Terry Joyner at the Franklin Simpson Parks Board, Leslie Goodrum and his crew at Franklin Simpson Fire and Rescue, Kiwanis, Simpson County Fair Board, and the Simpson County Ag Awareness Committee. As you said earlier, it takes a community to do these things, and we've had a great community during this time. And then for our upcoming, we have our sponsor for the New Year's Eve celebration is German American Bank. And of course, we have another year, and if anybody's willing to sponsor anything, we're still taking sponsorships.
Well, I want to say thank you to all of y'all for being on this committee and the work you've done. It's no small undertaking to organize back-to-back bicentennial celebrations for the county and then the city. So I appreciate the hard work that y'all put in.
Well, thank you, and again, thank you all for your support. And Myron, thank you for driving the wagon on Community Day.
My pleasure.
Thank y'all. All right, next we have with us this morning a young man that's had the privilege of doing something that very few people get to do, and that is he got to be at the White House, I assume in the Oval Office, with and met the President and several other folks. Mr. Javarius Rogan, he was there for a leadership summit. So Mr. Rogan, we'd like to ask you to come up. We'd like to recognize you, and if you've got some things you'd like to share about that experience of meeting the President, we'd be glad to hear that this morning. Yeah. I asked him, would he be nervous? I said, surely you're not going to be nervous after meeting the President. You won't be nervous about coming to a fiscal court meeting.
No, I just want to say thank you to the City of Franklin for helping this be possible. I had a few people in the town that helped me on my journey and still is helping me. Mayor Larry Dixon has been a big part of this, so just want to say thank you, even though he's not here. But yeah,
So what was it like to be in the Oval Office?
At first I was like, is this real? And so it was a big honor to be in the Oval Office, and not to only be in the Oval Office, but to be on stage with the President and Vice President. So
yeah, well, that's an awesome experience. We wish you well in everything you do.
Thank you.
Let's give Mr. Rosen. I'm not really putting him on the spot. We also have with us today Mr. Isaac Myers, the governor's representative from DLG. Is there anything you'd like to share with us today?
Okay.
If you're going to talk, you got to
I've got a pretty loud voice, I've been told, but I'll use the mic if you want me to. Thank you for having me, Judge and Magistrate. It's good to be here. I don't have anything too big to report today. I'm sure you've heard, but I think it's 2 weeks ago tomorrow that we were able to give some discretionary aid to the city, which also helps the county residents. So glad we were able to do that. But if we can ever be a resource in any way, please let us know. I'd be happy to help. And hopefully we'll be here in a couple months. We'll find out if my boss stays in, and conversely me as well. But in the meantime, if I can ever do anything, please let me know. Thank you for having me.
All right, Isaac, we appreciate you. All right, moving on into our regular business. Gentlemen, if you've had an opportunity to review the minutes of the October 1st regular fiscal court meeting, we'd need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
Motion moved. Second.
Motion by Nate, second by Marty. Thank y'all.
Nathaniel Downey,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Abstain.
Myron Thurman,
Abstain.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. Next item, gentlemen, is to review and approve the second reading and passage of ordinance number 920.109. This is amending zoning regulations. We had the first reading at our last meeting, and this was actually just some language that had been omitted, unintentionally omitted from an update to the planning and zoning regs, and Carter had requested that we get that language back into those regulations.
And the city's already adopted a similar ordinance.
So we just need a motion and a second to pass the second reading of ordinance number 920.109, amending the zoning regulations.
So moved.
Motion by Myron.
Second.
Second by Nate.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downey,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Poston,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is to review and approve first reading of ordinance number 920.110. This relates to the planning and zoning fees and inspection jurisdiction. If you recall, we agreed to contract plan review and inspection services for commercial work. This is an ordinance that would set those fees, and we have to set these fees and establish this inspection jurisdiction by ordinance, and the city will have to do likewise. So we need a motion and a second to have first reading of this ordinance. Are there any questions about it? The fees that you see here are the same fees that a contractor would pay if they were to go to the state application for it. There's no increase to the consumer for the fees.
We already voted on this once, but we got to do the ordinance, right?
Well, we voted to contract with the gentleman to do so, but we have to establish the rate structure and the jurisdiction by ordinance.
Yeah. So moved.
Myron moved and Scott seconded.
So Myron made the motion, Scott seconded. But yeah, that's correct. We voted to do this. We just have to establish it by ordinance.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Nathaniel Downing,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next on the agenda is to review and approve the jail management vendor agreement. I think Chad's here with the jail if you have any questions. Let me get where I'm going here. This is a service called e-jail that would take the place of a service you were using, and the name of that service was? Jail Tracker. So there is a one-time cost. Is it $7,500 and then a monthly fee that would total $7,000 a year?
It was $7,000 a year, and it's either $6,500 or it was a $7,500 data fee, conversion fee. But you can look at it, if we have to upgrade the server, which we probably would with Jail Tracker, we're looking at $8,000. But yeah.
Kind of a wash.
So either way we go, it's going to be about the same dollar-wise.
Same
Right,
dollar.
because that server is probably 10 to 12 years old, and they recommend that we replace it if it's staying with Jail Tracker. So, we were going out the money regardless.
Also, there have been some issues with the updates with Jail Tracker.
Their support is
Sporadic at best.
So are there a lot of jail systems moving to this e-jail rather than Jail Tracker?
It's expected to go wide across the state.
Gentlemen, y'all have any other questions?
Is this something that's, excuse me, that's done yearly?
What's that?
Is this yearly?
It's, the charge is yearly. We, right now, this year we're going to pay 9 months of that $7,000. But then it can be $7,000 annually.
You already pay that.
What's that?
You already pay that now with this one?
Yes, we pay, I think it was
6,700 or 6,800, something like that a year is what Jail Tracker was costing.
It's about $300-400 more a year, but we're moving up 20 years of technology. So.
Also, this is one of those contracts that it's an annual one, but it renews. And so that's kind of where, typical, they have the automatic renewal provisions. I've discussed it with Brent. We modified it because there's some provisions we changed, and so they don't tell me how to practice law, and I don't tell them how to run a jail. And my understanding is this is better, will help them do their jobs better than what they've got right now.
And obviously, the attorney reviews contracts and agreements and sees if we're hanging ourselves before we enter one.
So I'd ask, if you're considering doing this, I'd ask that there be a motion to approve it and authorize the judge to sign it.
Right. That's what we would need to move with e-jail rather than Jail Tracker. We'd need a motion and a second to do so, and as the attorney said, authorize the judge to
We
sign.
also, just because I know this is not before, the time frame, like authorize and then when renewal would be, like how long will this is that in the contract? How?
I've not actually read it. I know some of the language in it.
I believe it's annual.
I believe it's an annual renewal, but I'll
Because we also reserve the right to terminate it if we're not happy with the...
Correct, there's a termination provision in there.
And with the effective date, immediately or beginning of that?
It was effective October 2nd.
The term is term. Well, I was mistaken. It was 59 months, 5 years. After initial agreement shall be automatically renewed for excessive one-year periods. Each party shall provide notice to the other of its intention not to renew within 60 days. Initial term and renewal terms shall be collected for this term. So it's 59 months on the first term, and then it's renewed annually. And you can talk about, let's see, and there are provisions in paragraph 13 about cancellation and termination for other reasons other than just choosing not to renew. So that's basically what you've got in it, but I mean, that's what you're looking at.
So the effective date
Would be
was October 2nd, and it's for a 59-month
initial term.
Initial term, and then renewed annually is potentially renewed annually.
But we need to be paying for this service or the jail tracker.
Yeah, it's one of the other.
It's a better service for me now.
It's a better service. It's a more modern service. He's right. Your technology's jumped up maybe 5 or 6 steps up technology-wise. Sorry, it took me a minute to find it.
I just know you
Yeah.
have to run it.
Motion.
It's not
What is?
We just need a motion to enter into this contract with E-Jail and authorize the judge executive to sign it.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Scott's made the motion.
Second.
Myron second.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Nathaniel County.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, if y'all recall, back in August, we discussed that the coroner was going to be in need of a cooler because the one that we have currently borrowed at the coroner's office, they're wanting to take it back from the place in which we have it borrowed. And Bob had said that he could check on some grants that might cover the cost of a transaction such as this. He did so, submitted some grants. We were politely denied, and so we will not be receiving grant money to make this purchase, but the coroner is still in need of the cooler. And you see it's in the agenda, same as it was when we talked in August, the same cooler, $5,249. I guess here's the rub to it. I don't know that we had an allowance for that in the budget, which would mean it would just be a general fund a purchase if we approved a purchase.
We'll also have to do a transfer.
Yeah. And the coroner told us yesterday as he was in the office that he would be here today unless something came up, so it appears that something may have came up, which is the reason we're talking about a body cooler.
I mean, fellas, y'all make the financial decisions, but I don't think it's an unreasonable request for the coroner to have a cooler.
That's actually ours.
That's ours.
Along with that 5249, the cot isn't included either, is it? Isn't that what he said the first time?
Yeah, the cot's not included, but he said we could hold off on that and try to work that into a future budget. I believe that's what he said when he was in the office yesterday.
So now what good would the thing be without a cot?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the roll-in cot. I mean, it comes with the ability for a 2-slot storage. It just, you'd have to do it manually instead of an automatic, like a lift. He was talking about a lift to get them up. Right now, they would have to manually lift. Okay. And I don't know what the cost would be on the lift to work.
Okay. This is what he asked for, though.
This is the one he asked for.
Yeah. So much.
So Marty's made a motion that we purchase the body cooler. Do we need, as part of that motion, do we need to authorize a budget transfer in the amount to cover it? Okay. Are you good with that?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Okay.
if we get to the transfers, I mean, we can put it in the minutes here, or when we get to the transfers, you can add it into that.
When we do that.
We'll just add it to the transfers when we get there then.
Okay.
So we got the motion by Marty to purchase the cooler, second by Scott.
Harley Chamber,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Nathaniel Dillon,
Yes.
Myron Burns,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Another item, gentlemen, and this came in too late to get it added to the portal, but I think y'all all were emailed a copy of this contract for professional services, and I think Pam made a copy and laid it in front of all of you this morning. But basically, if you'll go to the back page of that, you'll see the county entered a resolution back in August 21 of 2018 to basically do what we're authorizing here today. What we need today, though, is just to basically authorize the judge executive to sign this contract with the BRAD to oversee and operate this CBDG grant for the Steel Road Water Sewer Line project. And basically the contract says that BRAD will oversee all of this, and their cost for doing so would be $30,000, and that money would actually come from the grant proceeds.
Comes out of the grant. Okay.
Comes out of the grant proceeds. That is correct. That money comes out of the proceeds, correct?
Motion made.
So Nate's got a motion to agree to the contract and authorize the judge executive to sign.
It's $30,000, right?
$30,000 is the fee to Brad.
Second.
Marty, second.
Nathaniel Dillon,
Yes.
Harley Chamber,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Myron Burns,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next item, gentlemen, is to review and approve setting some speed limits. I was out on Cheney Road last week talking to some folks about this fiber, and a couple of people they didn't really complain. They just said they would much prefer the speed limit on Cheney Road be set at 35 miles an hour rather than 45 miles an hour. Marty, I know you're aware of that road. It's especially on the Gold City end, it's pretty hilly, and it's
congested too.
It's getting pretty congested, more so on that end. It's more congested on the hilly end than it is the straight end out at Roark Road. But
Should have said before we got the road fixed.
Yeah, it was even worse.
It's wide now. The only problem I have with that, I mean, you said, I've had people ask me to do this before, you set the speed limit, but if the sheriff is, I'm staying busy and we don't have somebody that can patrol it on a regular basis, it really doesn't do a whole lot of good to set it. And I'm not saying the sheriff don't do his job, I'm just saying it's a big county, and, it was just,
well, I think the hope of the neighbors, the folks that spoke to me out there, the hope that they had was that if we just put it, some people would recognize it and try to slow down. If nothing else, it at least make the residents out there maybe feel better. I have no problem letting Bobby or saying to Bobby, hey, could you go change those speed limit signs from 45 to 35?
I just, like I say, if you do it, they're gonna be calling the sheriff.
Well, like I told Bobby, they're still gonna drive 45. Or 55.
No.
Yeah, but it does put some teeth in it, though.
I'm gonna say Marty's right, and, all the way around, it's not any good unless there's people to enforce it. Sheriff can only cover so much. I mean, he has limited staff, and nothing against good folks on Cheney Road, but there's a lot of other roads that they have to patrol as well. And so I understand both of you are right. I mean, it'll make the residents feel better.
Yeah. And there may be people that will see it and observe it.
I'm saying, and that's also true, but the practical effect is, we could set it at 5 miles an hour unless there's somebody out there to enforce it on a regular basis.
Yeah, but if it's 35, that's the law.
It is the law.
And I'll happily, help enforce it. I'm just saying that.
I think the biggest thing is that it will make the residents feel better, and hopefully there will be some that will observe it, is the hope.
I always tell them they usually know who's doing the speeding, just stop them and talk to them about it.
Yeah. Well, that could get dangerous nowadays. You stop somebody, it could turn into a road rage incident. I prefer to let the law enforcement stop people. And the other request, and I think we could do these combined, I think we could do them combined or an either or deal, is actually there is no speed limit sign on Coach Road right now. We've had a request to set that speed limit sign at 25 as you enter. As most of you know, it's a dead-end road. It just goes in and cul-de-sacs and comes back out. And it's basically like a subdivision road. I mean, it's house after house after house after house on both sides.
There's a difference between changing a speed limit and setting one. So yes, we need to set one.
So I guess we'd need to deal with them separately then.
Correct.
So I'm good with, I'll make a motion myself to change the speed limit on Cheney from 45 to 35. And I would need a second if the court's so inclined.
Second.
Is that Myron?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Jason Barnes.
Yes.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downey.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
No.
So next would be, do we set a speed limit on Coach Road? And the request that we got was that we would set the speed limit at 25. I might also add that the request was made by a law enforcement official.
Motion moved.
Got a motion by Nate.
It's hard to cite somebody for speeding if there's no speed limit posted.
So Coach Road is our Audubon right now.
Yeah, it's all oxen free. We got a motion. Is there a second?
Nate made the motion. We just need a second. Myron second.
Nathaniel Downey.
Yes.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. All right, moving to the financial business. First up is to review and approve budget transfers. So in this, I guess here's where we would add I believe it was 5249, I think was the number. So in addition to the other budget transfers, it'd be 5249 to the coroner.
Does any from where?
From the cash reserve.
Okay.
Is there any question or comment about the budget transfers? If not, we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion by Myron, second by Scott.
Myron Thurman.
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Nathaniel Downey.
Yes.
Marty Chandler.
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. Next is to review and approve the cash transfers. of $34,715 from the general fund to jail, and the cash transfer of $38,500 from general to the 911.
Probably need to do those separately.
Okay, we'll do the attorney is advised to do these separately, so we'll do the cash transfer of $34,715 from general to the jail. I think, talking to Cole, the primary purpose here is a vehicle purchase, getting all that together. And I think it's a vehicle purchase and the upfront cost of this jail vendor agreement that we just talked about.
I thought he was buying a vehicle out of commissary.
No, this vehicle was from last fiscal year. They actually paid us from the commissary, but we didn't pay for it, so it's rolled into this fiscal year.
Yeah, we just moved the money and, yeah.
Okay. Motion moved.
So we got a motion by Nate to approve the cash transfer from general to jail.
Second.
Second by Scott.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Scott Poston.
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. And next would be to approve the cash transfer of $38,500 from general to the 911. Hopefully by first of the year, at least by spring, we won't have to do this any longer. Both water districts have began their billing system, and some of the phone services have already began taking the fee off, so that we should see this transition start getting this in shape to where hopefully we're no longer having to do this, but at the moment we need this transfer for the 911. Just need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Nate.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. Next, gentlemen, is to review and then approve the bills and claims. If you've had an opportunity to review those, we just need a motion to approve the claims. Motion by Marty,
Second.
second by Nate.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. Next on the agenda is to review and approve the September 30th financial statement. We would need a motion and a second to approve that statement subject to audit and authorize the county treasurer and county judge to sign.
So moved.
Motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Scott.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Mason Barnes,
Yes. And next, we would need a motion and a second to authorize the county treasurer to shop rates for one general fund revenue CD that has matured. We've got like a 20-day window, I think, to do something with this CD. It can be renewed at the place it's at on I think it was a 10-month renewal at like 2%, but we just recently done one on 11 months for like 2.4%. So what I would like to have the court do is authorize the treasurer to shop those rates and to place that CD where the best rate could be obtained.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Nate.
I'm sorry, Poston,
And I guess as part of that motion, does there need to be any authorization for the treasurer and/or county judge to sign a transfer, or does it require any signatures? Okay.
It requires signatures, but it doesn't require anything about this report.
Okay.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Nathaniel County,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Myron Herman,
Yes.
Mason Morris.
Yes, and once we get it moved, we'll report back to the court at the next meeting as to where it went and what the rate was.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, moving on to reports. I may need a little help from Bob on this one. I may just let Bob talk about this in his report, the grant that we got yesterday. I'll leave that for Bob. We did receive a $13,700 grant. I'll let Bob share the details of that in his report. Just a few things as we're heading here in October, a lot of things happening around town. The Historical Society is doing a haunted jail tour every Friday and Saturday night in October, and I think they're going to be open Halloween day. I'm not sure what time, but they're going to open up the weekend of Halloween, like that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, for extended hours. But every Friday and Saturday they're doing haunted jail tours. If you got a pup that you want to put in a costume and bring to the square Saturday, there's Wag-A-Ween Saturday, and I think at like 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, there's two different judgings for looking at pups in costumes or dogs in costumes. Obviously then, a big celebration is, as Lisa talked about, on Friday the 25th and Saturday the 26th, they're going to do cemetery tours, but also October 26th will be Boo Fest here downtown that evening, and then obviously Halloween is Thursday, October 31st, so just want to encourage everybody, if they're out and about, to watch for the kiddos walking around. Marty, you got anything?
No.
Nate?
Yes, with the Parks and Rec, the removal of the playground equipment and installation of the new playground equipment began yesterday. And they said there's a possibility that it could be done by today, no later than tomorrow, out at the park. And with the Boys and Girl Club, we had our Midwest Conference last week, and it went well. It was CEOs there, staff, and board members across the board. And the workshops, we had workshops and we had guest speakers there, talking to us about different things, and it was real helpful. And all of us took something from there, because in every workshop that it was, we all worked together and try to throw out issues that we will have and then try to find solutions for it. So we all took something from all that right there. And during one of the award presentations, our club was awarded the Go Eagle Award. This is the annual award, and it's like one of the highest awards that a club can receive. So we received it for the third year in a row. Because some of the things that take place of it, they look at your club and they see what all that's going on, and they look at numbers, just the overall aspect like of your club. And so in the future here, look for changes being done down at our club on making things better for our kids.
Very good. Thank you, Nate. Scott, anything? No, sir. Myron? Mr. Attorney?
My usual, pay your taxes by the end of the month to get your 2% discount. I strongly suggest those who can, please do so. I'm a tightwad, I like saving 2%, and if you're like me, most folks have a mortgage, you have an escrow, make sure you jump up and down on your mortgagee to let them know that, please take, that escrow's there for a reason, please pay it by the end of October to save everybody money. So, if at all possible, pay your taxes by the end of the month.
Well, thank you, sir. Jolene, you have anything from the clerk's office?
Absentee voting starts today in the office. If you're going to be out of town on election day, you can come by the office and vote in office. We have election school tomorrow for poll workers and just gearing up for the election.
Very good. Chad, anything on behalf of the jailer? Sheriff, you have anything?
No report.
All right, Bob, I know I'd like you to come up and tell about what this grant entails.
every year the Office of Homeland Security puts out grant funding for different kinds of projects. And we've had some pretty serious issues with our generator backup at the tower site where our communications are. So we put in an application, this year to purchase a generator and have it installed out there and have our own equipment on our radio system. And we got notification yesterday that Homeland Security has granted us a $13,700 grant to buy our own generator and install it out there. So that process will probably begin today as I start making phone calls to start getting things worked out. So that's that'll be a big improvement on us having to rely on somebody else's equipment. We won't have to do that anymore.
Very good. Bob, you have anything for road department?
Just some information, nothing to act on, just for your information. You all know that I have no idea how many years Harry Law has worked as a part-time position for the county. He does takes the inmates and does the roadside pickup, the abatement grant we have. Harry has decided he'd have to quit that job after, I don't know how many years, 20 years or however long it's been, but anyway, I just so you're aware, because I know a lot of you know him, so you might just, his wife is in bad health, so he's had to give it up. But I appreciate all he's done, because he's done a good job for that and a lot of other things, and so if you happen to see him, you just probably want to mention that to him. Okay. So we're covered in that position, so we're good shape.
Very good. Carter, you have anything with planning and zoning? All right, Chief, anything? Bill, anything with maintenance? I don't think I've overlooked anyone, hopefully. All right, at this moment, I do need a motion and a second to enter into executive session took my other glasses off, for the purpose of land acquisition, which is discussions or hearings? No. Deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicity would be likely to affect the value of a specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by a public agency. We also need executive session to discuss personnel discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee. So I need a motion and a second, please. Motion moved. Motion by Nate. Second. Second by Myron.
Yes.
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 Yes. We'll take a 5-minute recess and then we'll convene in the back room.